There are lots of different therapies attached to non-duality, so I'll just deal with the therapy I used, which, back in the day, was using whatever emotional or mental turmoil that was presenting as a way to return to your true self as vast, silent consciousness. After a massive so-called awakening, it seemed clear that one begins as already enlightened, already vast empty consciousness. This was everyone's true state. So the question became, so how do you regularly hypnotize yourself into being unenlightened? So, firstly I saw you as this, as someone who was really this empty consciousness, but there was a temporary trance running in here, and we could do all sorts of exercises to return you to here. So you could see that ultimately you were this, the big C. So if you had an upsetting story running, we could undo the story by uncovering the meaning, then the emotion, then the sensation, then to the unknowing. Or we could identify which trance was temporarily in here. Is it a sensory distortion trance and you're super aware of your body? Is it past regression running and you're beset by recurring memories? Or is there a future trance happening and you're always looking forward into an imagined future? Possibly a projection has shown up and you're imagining things about other people. That's the worst one, isn't it? Perceiving what other people are perceiving about us. That's a horrible trance, but I digress. As we dissected and labelled which trance was running, we'd be able to dissociate the you as empty awareness from what was happening as a way to return you to your true self. And what if the person had an identity trance running of, I am a somebody? I'd lead them backwards from the identity and back to silent consciousness. And sometimes the trance would go pop and the person felt awake. They'd feel spacious awareness. And if it was a course I was teaching, well, there was the added juice only a group can bring. Love and bliss as we all melted into our true selves and felt at one with one another. It was a heady, love-filled, awakening experience. Even though at the time I'd say, this is just theatre, there was still this palpable love and relief of feeling like we were waking up and were enlightened. We'd return to our true nature of being. And depending upon how you showed up in the world, some were considered more awake, others unawake. The less you were triggered back into a trance, the more enlightened. The more you were triggered, the more work one had to do. And if people had that wonderful experience of the world and you disappearing as one and reappearing as one, that was a sure sign of the greatest awakening. It seemed like Ramana's promise coming true, Satchitananda, at our core, eternal bliss and consciousness. It was just a matter of returning to our true being. The world needed to wake up to this truth about their true self as consciousness, and then we'd all be much more loving. We'd all be vegetarian and kind and live in utopia. And if you're American, you'd vote Democrat for sure. As a therapy, it was gorgeous. Aspects of it, intelligent, helpful and healing, especially if there was trauma. If you want to feel love and bliss rather than pain and suffering, well, there's nothing better. But the non-duality without consciousness, well, the reality of this being here goes pop. Being aware, let alone thinking you are awareness itself, has been the only illusion. What does that leave? Nothing. No freedom, no autonomy, no someone with more or less triggers, no power, no real other, no real separation, an appearance of spontaneous energy, spontaneity, is about the best one could say. So no one able to avoid or to choose therapy, it may appear or not, as meaningless as any other appearance. This illusion of awareness creates the illusion of time, the illusion of creation, the illusion of there being a me and a you. Of course, the first thing one often thinks is, well, I as awareness need to see that awareness is not real. There's a bit of a problem with that. No one can get this. All that seems to happen in the appearance is that a sense of a me can drop, or it's intuited in a sudden, visceral moment, creating an immense paradigm shift. Or maybe the illusion of me just fades away. It was never there in the first place. Cut apart the brain and this won't fall out. From no view left, it's impossible to think awareness is the source of all, or the true backdrop of the universe. That is now seen as man believing himself in possession of consciousness and projecting that as being divine. Man has found the big D is himself, and it was hidden inside himself the whole time. No, nothing grandiose there at all. Just because brain data, in the appearance, is reading sensory input, it doesn't mean there is consciousness. It's mistaken as consciousness. It feels like consciousness. Thinking happens, just not in consciousness. With no me there is no freedom, but no freedom needed. No bliss, but no bliss needed. Thinking, but no thinker. Enlightenment becomes a bit of a joke. No one can become enlightened because there is no one. No one separate from what is, and no one with awareness anywhere. Just spontaneous happening. So no rules. No one with authority anywhere. Nothing and no one to be taught. This can be expressed, but for no reason. No one's giving and no one's on the receiving end. If someone jumps up and says,
"By Jove, I've got it,"
that's all that's happening. Someone jumping up and saying,
"By Jove, I've got it."
Nothing else. It's not even interesting if someone gets it or not, because there is no one. Someone confused is the same appearance as someone who's got it. No one's confused or got it. Maybe there's a little bit of sympathy, because this is so ungettable. It's impossible. The impossible paradigm shift that won't help you one bit. The data here is entirely made up. The sense of consciousness is entirely made up. The sense of separation is entirely made up. The division creates separation where there is none. What is already wholeness. It's indivisible. It's a fake separation, not requiring anyone to do weird spiritual exercises to find wholeness, not requiring a fake race to win a fake enlightenment. It's all one appearance already, no one in it. The separation is only in your mind, and that mind is illusory, a fake projection. Trying to turn this off is the illusion. It's already not there. It's this that isn't there, looking around for the off button on the projector, which it can't see, and it isn't in here anyway. It's called seeking enlightenment. This sense of an egoic me can't and won't find anything. This thing we call consciousness isn't in here. This isn't even in here. The synaptic action of the brain is in the appearance of what is. All that one can say is, in the appearance, but no real conclusions made. Nothing apart from the appearance. Nothing hidden beyond the appearance. Nothing hidden and hiding inside man. No seeker anywhere. No awareness to comprehend an answer. Just this. Speaking now, it's in the appearance and that's all. Whatever response there is, it's in the appearance and that's all. Waiting for a realization to occur in an awareness that you don't have is the unnecessary dilemma right there. Waiting for something that can't happen is only an apparent happening in the apparent appearance anyway. That's all. And with that, that's all, folks. Where's the off button so I can see none of this is real? I'm sure the answer is to be found in here. It's here somewhere. I want an answer. Or I want to find the off button. Where is the off button so I can know consciousness is the dream and not real?